Well, hello, God's good people. Welcome back. So finally, we are wrapping up finances. And this time we are talking about, have you ever heard the quote, if you have a need, sow a seed? God says different. He says, don't give out of necessity. And he says some other things too in 1 Corinthians, but don't give out of a need. That's not how he wants us to do things. He says obedience is better than sacrifice, right? If it's all about sacrifice, Cain's offering would have been accepted, right? So it's about the heart. He's saying, leave your gift at the altar and get any ought with your brethren, right? So it's not just give out of a need. God wants your heart to be right in your giving. And then he wants you to give out of obedience and out of your love for him. Whatever you've already purposed in your heart, that's what he wants you to give. Not because you're compelled, not because you have a need. He says, I already know what you have need of. Don't ask me for your needs. I already know what you need. That's what the heathens do, he says. So it's a whole nother level of thinking. God wants to give you the desires of your heart. So ask him to put his desires in your heart. And then when you pray those desires, then he will give them to you. You have whatsoever you ask because you're giving knowing what God's will is for your life. It's the desires he put in your heart. So don't give out of a need. Give what you purposed in your heart to give, and not out of being compelled to give. And that's why for some of us, those tithes or offerings or special offerings that we give, we're not seeing a return on it because God didn't tell us to do it. Someone is compelling you to do it and pulling on your heartstrings, or maybe it's because of, theology or what we've learned, and we're thinking in order to get something, I need to sow a seed. But really, it's God's wisdom, a word of knowledge, a word of revelation when he tell you, okay, do this. And there's a person that I know of who was given out of a need. Their dad was telling them, if you have a need, sow a seed. And which was, it sounds great. And they were doing this and doing it over and over. And it's actually, who was it? Terry, what's her name? Savelle's daughter, Terry. And so anyway, then she was saying how you have to go back and hear her wonderful testimony about her French home that she was believing God for. And she was sowing and giving, and things were not happening. And some time went by, a year later or whatever. And God told her she needed to increase her faith. Nothing to do with the seed. Be blessed, stay in faith, listen to what God tells you to do, and give out of obedience and love for God what you've already purposed in your heart to give, or what he tell you to sow. Obey God in your giving. Be blessed. Bye-bye.